democracy at its finest.
Yes.
You know, I love it. You know, when games have bugs, you know, sometimes they're a blessing.
Yeah.
They're a blessing in disguise. Helldivers 2, a game that is consuming my life, has myself and many others hooked on that sweet, sweet managed democracy, diving down onto planets to liberate them from the undemocratic scum of the galaxy. This game is fun. But how? Why is Helldivers 2 so much fun to play? Believe it or not, there is a way to answer this question by turning to the forbidden arts of game design analysis. That was stupid. Specifically, the MDA Framework. But what is the MDA Framework, and how does that apply to Helldivers 2 being fun? Well, strap in, Helldiver, because I'm about to take you on one hell of a dive into game design analysis. So, let's tackle the elephant in the room. What is the MDA Framework? Well, it's a tool in game design that was created to help analyze games by formalizing and breaking down said games into 3 major categories: the mechanics, the dynamics, and the aesthetics. Or, put simply, the boundaries, the space, and the fun. The mechanics set the rules around the player. The dynamics are then created due to the player's freedom when playing within the rules, and then aesthetics are born from players' sensations when playing the game. But for us to understand why Helldivers 2 is so much fun, we actually need to start in reverse order, with the game's aesthetics. Now, as mentioned earlier, aesthetics in this context does not refer to the game's visuals, though they're nothing to scoff at. It's the player's feelings when playing the game. That is what we're concerned about. Now, let me ask you a question. When you're spreading liberty and freedom to the planets of our galaxy, how does that make you feel? Tense? Tactical? Powerful? Some level of PTSD? The thing about analyzing a game's aesthetics is that fun is too broad of a term. To answer the question, we need to use more directed vocabulary. For example, in id Software's Doom released in 2016, I can guarantee you most players, if asked, would describe the feeling of playing this game with words such as
brutal, thrilling, powerful, violent. You think I'm trapped in here with you? No. You are trapped in here with me!
This is the same for Helldivers 2. The game creates and reinforces strong, clearly definable aesthetic terms for us to use in our analysis. For instance, when you successfully shoot down an automaton dropship, you feel a sense of skillfulness and satisfaction as you send that socialist contraption crashing into the ground. And how about those times when you're surrounded on all fronts? You feel tension as you fight for, let's be honest, the super samples that you've collected. And what about when you're evacuating civilians? When you're consistently having to deal with 4 hulks at a time, whilst having what feels like the entire automaton armada dropped on your head? I can tell you what you're feeling, and that is pain. Just sadistic, brutal pain. Because these missions are complete bullshit. We interrupt this broadcast to bring you a message straight from Super Earth's High Command. A new operation objective has become available to you. To complete it, click the subscribe and like buttons below this video. Good luck on your mission, Helldivers. May managed democracy continue to spread throughout the galaxy. Now we return to our regularly scheduled broadcast. High Command can shove these missions up my... The dynamics of a game almost act as a bridge of sorts, establishing the connection between the game's mechanics and its aesthetics. Because dynamics are created through a player's agency and creativity when interpreting the game's core structure, and this in turn creates aesthetics. For example, in Helldivers 2, a player can dismember an enemy with a powerful enough weapon. This mechanic is used by players in many strategies to counter certain types of enemies, like the Charger, where players blow off bits of a Charger's armor to expose its softer hide, leading to an easier kill. This use of the mechanic was not intended by Arrowhead Games Studio, as stated by designer and head of production testing, Patrick.
I really love how the community finds things though, like the leg meta for the Chargers. Like that wasn't the thing we really realized before launch.
And yet, because of the player's creativity inside of the boundaries of the game's mechanics, it creates dynamics within Helldivers 2 that help reinforce aesthetics for the player, further enhancing their experience whilst playing the game. You feel awesome and powerful when you blow up a Charger, and this is because of your input, the player's creativity. Any strategies and techniques that a player develops to better combat the undemocratic scum of the galaxy, that is the game's dynamics at work. The mechanics of the game are only programmed to execute their function, but the dynamics of a game are up to the freedom the mechanics allow within the rules, whether the developers intended it or not. Now, let us move on to the last part of the MDA framework, the mechanics, the foundation that everything we've discussed up until this point is built upon. For the mechanics are the core of the game, the literal code. They are the rules, the boundaries that the developers surround a player with. And if you don't have that, you literally don't have a game, period. For example, you don't have a platformer like Celeste without robust, continuous movement mechanics. You press a certain button, and Madeline will jump. You press another, and she will dash. But the mechanics are not just limited to physics-based interactions. There are several ways to categorize them. They can fall under areas such as internal economies, tactical movements, so on and so forth. A great example of one such mechanic and internal economy present in Helldivers 2 would be sample collecting. In order to upgrade your destroyer, your ship, you need a resource called samples. Objects that you stumble across during missions, with there being 3 tiers, locked behind certain challenge levels. This discrete mechanic, discrete meaning that there isn't any gradual movement between values in the code, creates a very satisfying side objective during missions for players to interact with and plan for, if they choose to, because the sample collecting mechanic isn't forced onto the player. This in turn sets the foundation to create dynamics for the game, which in turn creates aesthetics that enhance the player's experience. Remember, the mechanics are the rules that build the structure for the game, but in a way that leaves space for players to express their creativity. Now, after all of these long explanations and examples, I believe it's finally time to answer the question I asked right at the beginning of this video. Why is Helldivers 2 so much fun to play? It is because all 3 areas we've discussed over the course of this video, aesthetics, dynamics, and mechanics, are all working in harmony with each other, with each part of the framework complementing and reinforcing the others. The aesthetics set the tone of Helldivers 2, a game of action and of chaos. The dynamics give players creative freedom within the rules, allowing them to tackle objectives and tasks however they see fit. And the mechanics secure a strong foundation, which encourages the growth and development of said dynamics and aesthetics. This is why Helldivers 2 is so much fun to play. It is cohesive in its construction. Everything is working together to provide us, the players, with a truly fantastic experience when spreading freedom and democracy to the galaxy. No matter the level of PTSD I get from fighting the bots, no matter how much incompetence I have to deal with when it comes to teammates, I somehow always manage to log back on and continue the fight for democracy, because Helldivers 2 is just that fun to play. Except for when I have to do another one of those bloody awful civilian evacuation missions. Like, I don't care that what I'm saying is treason. Super Earth High Command are complete and utter psych.
What's this about treason?
Oh shit! Thank you for watching the video. I originally wrote this script for a recent uni assignment that I had to do, but I loved the concept of the MDA framework so much that I decided, hey, why not just touch up the script and make it into a proper video. I got full marks on the assignment, so like, I assume I know what I'm talking about. Now that's all from me. Take care and have a good rest of your day.